I don't know anything about this band. You're the K-pop expert, and you watch Korean dramas. I know you're in this sphere, so maybe you can tell everybody about this.
You give me a lot of face here, but unfortunately, I don't know much about K-pop. I know the general groups.
Okay.
But I will say, of course, BLACKPINK's probably not only the biggest K-pop group of all time, but the biggest music group now, currently in the world, not just in Korea, right? Charting, all the time on American Billboard, Europe, all over the place, right? Particularly in Asia as well, where they're very popular.
Sure.
Now, what you have to know about this is that K-pop is Korean pop music. It managed to be soft power outside of Korea, which is very rare for a lot of countries to be able to project things past American culture into American culture. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
So K-pop has had some serious success with their music. And the craziest thing about it is that while America has projected soft power through entertainment,
like Hollywood movies,
music, right? They've done it through their own language, which is English, right?
Sure.
Korean K-pop and K-dramas and all this kind of stuff have managed to do this in their own language, which is pretty shocking. I mean, I think we first started seeing this happen with, ironically, Psy with Gangnam Style, right?
Yeah.
We started to see Korean stuff start to take over, and that was in Korean, right? It's weird to see a smaller language compared to English.
Yeah, they don't translate it, Yeah.
So anyway, BLACKPINK, picture the biggest music group in the world if you're out of touch. And then picture the biggest person in that group, which her name is Lisa. Okay,
but she's not Korean.
No, she's Thai. She has more, I think, more global appeal.
Sorry, wrong one. This one. Just like Sarah AI.
Sarah AI is also from Thailand.
Comes from the land of the Thais.
Also from Bangkok, I believe.
Fantastic place, by the way, Thailand.
Yes.
A lot of fun there, riding scooters around.
Yes. Anyway, Lisa, being the only non-ethnically Korean one, has had global appeal, I think, because she's had to fit into the group and be part of Korean culture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, her lasting impact is that she is a global juggernaut for millions, if not a billion people around the world.
Yeah.
Right? Some of BLACKPINK's songs, if you were to pull them up on YouTube, have over 2 billion views, not million, 2 billion views, right?
Sure.
Meaning that about half of the globe has heard their music, right? Now, for
either that or there's like a couple of nerds that just keep hitting it on repeat all the time.
So they've listened to it 20,000 times in a week.
I can see that. I can see that happening.
I can see that happening. You get these K-pop stands like this, right?
Yeah.
BTS, by the way, BTS would be the male equivalent of this.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, BTS is the male K-pop group that has seen global appeal. If not more than BLACKPINK.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's interesting how Korea's managed to really do the whole.
And props to them.
Yeah,
I'm actually. It's weird. I'm super pumped for them because I watched Japan do this, and I'm actually really rooting for Korea to do this because Korea is a really cool, special place, and I think that their quality of their media and their quality of their vehicles and their quality has really gone up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can say.
And I mean, the only reason you think it's a cool and special place is because of soft power. And that's how it works.
That's what I was going to bring it back around.
Yeah,
right?
that's how it works. Like if a country's putting out something that's appealing to you, you tend to start to take that country seriously, right?
That's absolutely correct.
There's no like, I don't know, Laos pop or something.
Right.
Pop
There's no Laotian pop, right? Well, there is in Lao.
And
right?
Yeah, but most people don't care about Lao because there's nothing really on their radar that comes from
There's
Lao.
no cultural export.
Yeah.
Right.
But Korea, we all know like these
it's cool.
Korean dramas,
food,
Hyundai, Kia.
Yeah. Everything comes with it too, right?
Exactly. Kimchi.
Anyway, BLACKPINK, BTS, things like this are the vehicles for this, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended. They're the Hyundais and the Kias of this cultural export. Now, Lisa, being the Thai, one of Thai origin, the foreigner of the group, so to speak, has recently done a cabaret show. Do you know what a cabaret is?
It's kind of like a seedy thing they do in France.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, you could call it seedy by today's standards. It's definitely not.
Okay, but it's what would the right word for it? Sultry?
Yeah, kind of
seedy.
Sultry,
I think it's still seedy.
I think it's one of those things that started seedy but became mainstream. It's kind of like rock music, right? In the beginning, people are like, oh, that devilish rock music, swaying the hips, like Elvis.
Okay.
Now you look back on that and say that's whatever. Sure. I think it's quite similar to that.
I guess there's definitely a sexual element to it.
For sure. Just like anything, right? Anything in entertainment and pop culture. This is a sexual element to pop music, to anything, right?
Right.
Going forward,
not in the same way that a burlesque is, though.
No. Yeah, I'm saying there was no nudity or anything in this show that she was in.
All right.
It's something that a lot of celebrities do. So in Paris, she went to this thing called Crazy Horse. It's this club. I have a photo of it here.
Okay, let's see. Where's this Crazy Horse photo you've got?
she performed.
Is that the one on the right?
Yeah,
this
correct.
there. Yeah,
and that's Lisa. So she performed in this thing, and it's something quite common for celebrities to do, to go back to their performance roots, right? So you have like Broadway and things like that, right? You go do something outside of your sphere, but still in the sphere. And while she was doing this, China kind of picked up on the fact that she was doing this in Paris.
I think before you even begin with this, you have to explain how popular she is in China.
Massively popular in China.
And she's very popular on...
I thought I illustrated globally she's massively
Yeah, but that's
popular.
not important because, you know, China blocks a whole bunch of crap, right?
Sure.
And they don't allow certain things. Like, they don't allow Hollywood movies that don't live up to their standards.
Yes.
So, you know, you can't watch certain Hollywood movies that you wouldn't know they exist if you lived in China.
For sure.
But of course, BLACKPINK's massively popular in China, and so she, and her Weibo account, which is kind of like I guess your Facebook / Instagram / Twitter thingy equivalent in China, was huge. How many followers did she have?
She got 8 million followers over a very short period of time. It was like relatively new.
Yeah.
And so what happened was she goes and China catches wind of this.
That she's going to do this burlesque show, yeah?
And all of a sudden, her Weibo, again, one of the most important things you can have in China is a Weibo account with a lot of followers on it, because that's how people are keeping their finger on the pulse. Because keep in mind, like you said, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all these things are blocked in China. So if you are following your favorite pop idol or pop
It'll
icon,
be on Weibo.
It'll be on Weibo, and they'll have a manager that runs that for the Chinese audience. It's a very important audience for them.
Yeah, of course.
Now, going forward, you can see what happened.
Okay. So she announces she's going to go do this kind of like...
Well, she does it.
Sultry, seedy, danceroo, burlesque.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but not nude.
Sure.
And China classifies it as a strip show, right? Erroneously.
Why have you got Angela Baby up here?
I'll show you what happens.
Okay. I used to have a huge crush on her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Back in the day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, she's really pretty. She's very attractive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, plastic surgery, I think. Maybe.
Sometimes it works out for the better, man. Like,
Maybe
seriously.
not, actually. I have no idea.
That
Anyway,
one.
long story short.
Not that one, that one.
Angela Baby,
Yeah.
the one above Winston, the girl above Winston, she watched her show, watched Lisa's show.
She went to the show.
Yes, she went to the show, right? From what I gather, that she was physically there. If not, she watched it remotely. Right?
Okay,
her eyes
so
were
she
on the
watched
show.
it. Okay.
Yeah. And there was public acknowledgement that she had watched the show. So after the show was done, right? Although there was no nudity or anything, Lisa's account was banned, right?
Okay.
Off of Weibo, or at least temporarily suspended. So when you tried to search her name,
Yeah.
it actually, you can't even search.
You can't search her
show the
official
search.
account.
Yeah, go to the next slide. I want to show the search term.
Just want to read this this little bit up here because her Weibo account with all these millions and millions of followers just suddenly got disappeared. Okay. And it says, although Lisa herself did not show any nudity, China has strict laws against its citizens and celebrities participating or watching in any show related to nudity or obscenity.
She's not Chinese.
I know she's not Chinese.
They claim ownership over anything that is posting in China. You see how that
Yeah,
works?
yeah, absolutely.
That actually gets an important point later. But
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what happens.
look at this. So when you looked for her account, right? When you try to search for her name on Weibo, look what happened.
The account is now unavailable due to complaints of violation of laws and regulations and relevant provisions of the Weibo Community Convention.
So a Thai woman in a Korean K-pop group went and did a non-nude musical performance in Paris, not China.
Yeah.
You see how nothing I've said so far is China?
Sure.
None of it. Goes and does that. She gets banned off of Weibo. But the more important thing in this situation is Angela Baby, that woman that you had a crush on,
Yeah.
was also removed. And
Just because she went to watch.
She went to watch the show.
Yeah.
And she has 108 million followers.
Yeah.
100. We're talking like PewDiePie levels of fame
Sure.
in terms of Weibo followers, right?
Yeah.
She had her account
She deserves those followers.
banned. Okay?
Yeah.
You can keep your opinions at the door. We're talking about the news. Anyway.
Sure.
Now, listen, that's a massive deal, and that causes serious waves. It's one thing if you remove something with 8 million followers and it's a foreign performer, because you're going to get a ton of backlash.
Here's I got a question for you. Did she post any of that performance onto Weibo?
Not that I can see. I cannot find any archive.
Or is it just because...
I think it's because she went.
Yeah, I think so. I know that just before she went, she posted like the advert, like just like a screenshot, kind of like a billboard for, the performance. It's gonna be
something
here.
like that.
And it sparked a massive discussion on Chinese internet,
Yes.
all about like how it's seedy.
Sure.
And, like she shouldn't do it because she's got this pure image.
Well, here's the deal. The backlash that I saw was interesting. There were a lot of people that are like, who cares, right? There's so much more seedy stuff that that other Chinese celebrities have done, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, why is she getting banned? This is a pop culture icon. But to remove a Chinese pop culture icon that has tenfold the followers, tenfold the influence, right?
Yeah.
Because of save it there, please. I'm not done. It's more important to follow that somebody was guilty by association for not even participating.
So this is someone else, right?
Yes, this is another person her name is Jenny Jiang. She is a Chinese celebrity and actress.
She also got.
She was also removed for, I believe, just associating with this whole situation. Now, the interesting thing is that on the Chinese internet, there were people that said, "Listen, this is not a big deal," and then there was other people that said, "Listen, I don't support that she did this seedy show." But you don't remove someone based on that. Yeah. That's inappropriate. And I think that prior to this, especially under the previous leadership, the CCP doesn't actually care what people think.
Yeah.
But they do care when it gets to a point where people start questioning the values of the Chinese government. Yeah. If you start taking away things that they're really, really passionate about, and then they start to protest based on those things, then the Chinese government does tend to shut up a little bit because they're like, well, we can't overstep we're not trying to be moral here and be reasonable, but we can't overstep our boundaries to the point where people are going to backlash against us because we took away their favorite singer. They are doing that now. They're doing that with reckless abandon now.
Yeah.
And it shows how far the Chinese government has gone with kind of sampling public opinion and has completely thrown that out the window. Sure. It's gotten to a point now where people are so apathetic to how much control the Chinese government actually has. And you saw things like with zero COVID, where people are locked in their house for months and they're starved to death.
Sure.
If they can get away with doing stuff like this, they can certainly get away with completely banning their favorite singers and musicians.
Yeah. So I think this should act as a wake-up call to a lot of people out there, because there's this attitude in China, and you meet this, doesn't matter who you meet, but there's this attitude of being untouchable because you have connections. Okay, you meet people, everyone's drinking. There's always somebody who's got an uncle in the police, or, like, nah, he's untouchable. Don't worry. Nothing bad can ever happen because, I can always make a plan type thing. Foreigners get to that way too. If you notice, a lot of foreigners, they're like, oh, I got guanxi, that kind of nonsense. It's all fake. Nobody has the power to, escape the government in China.
And like I said, the government may have taken this into consideration before, and they aren't now. They just aren't doing that anymore.
I mean, to take someone like Angelababy with that many followers and just delete her account, it shows you that everybody is expendable in China. Everybody can be silenced.
About that. They want people to see the effects of that, because then they go, wait a minute, what was done wrong here? I won't do that same thing. It's public control.
And it's all this guilt by association crap.
Yeah,
it's like it's
North Korea.
It's really bad because somebody's doing something the government doesn't like. Everyone's going to be like, you know what? I just let me not get near this. Let me not. I can't associate with you anymore. It's this whole 1984 nonsense.
Very North Korea-esque. Like, you are guilty of your family's crimes. You're guilty of your friends' crimes. You're guilty of everything.
For like 3 generations or something.
And it just doesn't align with Western values at all. People will have no sympathy for that.
Exactly.
So really, this has caused massive waves, and I think it's almost on purpose. It's one of those things that might be a knee-jerk thing, and then the Chinese government walks it back a little bit because they're like, wait a minute, this is bad. But at the same time, they wouldn't have done such a knee-jerk reaction if they didn't think that this is the right thing to do in line with their values.
Yes.
So it's it's bigger than it is, because you don't have to care about the pop culture element of it. You have to care about the way that China's cracking down on things they don't like has become a blanket and a dome and trying to contain everything to really follow the principles of Xi Jinping thought.
Yes.
Versus before, when they might silently make something go away or block this or do that. This is a public thing.
Yeah.
And this is going to cause a lot of waves.
Yeah, and China's just becoming more and more uncool.
Yes.
Like, seriously, it's just becoming terrible. If you can't even allow a foreign actress that's got nothing to do with China to go and do a little, seedy dance somewhere, without taking her entire operations down in China and everyone associated with her, like, what's going on? Imagine if you're Chinese, how devastating it is.
Wow.
But also, this is a big warning to all these companies that constantly pander to China.
Yeah, that's true.
They're always, just because they want a piece of that Chinese market, they let go their morals. Yeah. And they comply all the time. But you know what? One little thing can completely destroy you. Look what happened to the Houston Rockets. Is it that right? Yeah. Because the one guy said something about Hong Kong. Suddenly, like, all their games were canceled and stuff.
It was huge.
They had to kowtow. Stop this
They removed all the
kowtowing.
Nike billboards and stuff and all that.
Why even engage or put yourself in that situation where you're basically a little slave to this authoritarian government that, you know, you have to tiptoe around them all the time. Otherwise, you just get cancelled and all your investment goes away.
It's a unique situation because I think that in the past, there was never a situation where a country with so many potential customers that want to participate in these international brands have, like, at least some of them have enough money to participate in those things.
Sure.
Because usually authoritarian countries are wicked poor, and China is wicked poor by and large, but there's enough pool there to have a customer base.
Correct.
And so it's so tantalizing and tempting for these companies to really just kowtow, like you said. And I think we are seeing that happen less. Actually, there was 2 brands that shouted out Lisa in this conflict.
Oh, yeah?
I think Bulgaria was one of them.
Okay.
I think it's
what do they make?
Watch brand or something.
Is that Bulova or Bulgaria?
Bulgaria.
Oh, Bulgaria? Okay.
I think it's also a fashion brand. But anyway, it was rare because I think if you asked me 5 years ago, you would have never seen that.
No.
Yeah,
the thing is, we got to get to a point now where we stop allowing this authoritarian government to just dictate how what everyone should say and do. It's kind of pathetic.
For sure.
And it's good to see when people actually stand up against that and just stick to their morals.
Agreed.
And hopefully more and more people will start doing this. Hopefully more and more manufacturing will move out of China so that they don't have such a hold on all these companies. You know what I mean?
I don't want us to be negative Nancy's about this because I'll tell you, this is happening. What you just said we hope is happening.
Yeah.
And this is a symptom of a thing that's been unfolding for a while. I hope it's more in the public psyche that people understand that we're not dealing with a friendly adversary anymore. This is a country that needs to control everything inside and outside of its borders. And if we allow that to win, that's a big problem.
And we saw how it affected Hollywood for the longest time and how the quality of the movies suffered as a result.
Yeah.
Because they had to censor themselves and add in random actors that shouldn't have been there and random product placements and stuff just to appease the Chinese censorship board. It was pathetic.
Yes.
Anyway,
I think this will do nothing but propel Lisa's career. I heard she's going to do some solo stuff, but this is going to make her wildly
and if not,
popular.
she can always end up working for Huawei.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think, as funny as that is, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either.
Because, I don't think she'll pander because no one likes a rebellion story like other countries. Yes. China doesn't like that, but other countries love it.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, so, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's only going to benefit.
And it's been proven time and time again that the Chinese market, although it's a valuable market to tap into, it's not necessary for a company to be successful. Because many companies, Hollywood included, were around before China opened up, and they will be around after China closes.
And guess what?
What?
That's another good thing to say, is that I have noticed this time and time again, but celebrities that don't kowtow to the Chinese government are always cooler. And not in my eyes, in everyone's eyes.
That's very true.
When you become a pander bear for the CCP, nobody thinks that's cool.
Yeah.
That's selling out, right?
Yeah.
So when you do the opposite of that, I think it's just going to be this bad snowball for the CCP, as they won't be able to get anybody on their side.
And it gets to a point where they cut off so much that the outside world becomes so cool again, just like in the Soviet Union and stuff, that the people within China will now really crave that.
It's like the jeans and the McDonald's, right? The Soviet Union is a good analogy.
And Knight Rider.
You take all that stuff away, right? Yeah. And they become pop culture icons within the country you cut them off from.
Yeah.
It's gonna backfire.
It is going to backfire for sure.
Laoban style.
Yeah, we're wearing the Laoban shirts today.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she's here. I think you should eat me first, and I'll eat you first.
That sounds terrible. If you eat the fox, then bugs won't bite you.
What?
Now, the weird thing about these Chinese vampires is the way they move around. Jumping corpse! They burn money, fake money. They burn fake houses. They burn fake cars. They create a lot of pollution, basically, for ghosts. Yep. She secretly urinated in the monk's bowl.
Ah, yes, as you do. It's just shocking to think you would let a baby die for like a 90-year-old woman that's already lived her life.
90-year-old woman.
And she's not even related to you.
No, dude, I'd leave her outside in the cold or something, you know? Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs.